What's up, everybody, and welcome to the J and K Show. I'm your man, J Rob, and I got my brother from another mother, K, in the house. What up, brother?
Yo. What's good, man?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. As always, no bad days. Everything is lovely over here.
Yeah, everything is good. We got some good weather.
Yep.
Summer's here. We have some good times. It's blessed, man.
Yeah,
we're blessed.
indeed.
All right, so we're going to jump into some hot stories of this past week, and boy, it's been a doozy. We had a lot of hot stories. Started off the week.
Right.
Because doesn't Sunday start the week? I never understood that. Didn't they say Sunday starts the week?
Yeah, Sunday does. Yeah, first day of the week is Sunday.
Yeah, but I've always thought, that's another topic, but I always thought Monday started the week.
Well, it starts the work week.
Starts the work week.
For many people.
Oh, but there you go. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the work week, the official week started on Sunday, where my man, Joe Biden, dropped out of the race. Big bombshell. Big bombshell. Although maybe it's not such a big bombshell because a lot of people were expecting it, or maybe not so much expecting it, but a lot of the Democrats were at least pushing him to step down. So this past Sunday, it actually happened. He did step down. He is no longer in the race for the presidency of the United States. So now it was big. Now I can tell you one thing, Kay, that really bothered me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I feel like he was pushed out by the Democrats. I was so pissed off by the Democrats that I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to switch parties. I'm going to be independent now.
Oh, I thought you were going... I didn't know you were going purple. I thought you were...
Oh, you thought I was going to the complete opposite side? Oh, no, I ain't going there, bro. I ain't going there. No. I think I've been an independent for a while. Right?
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying. But anyway... I just don't like when, I've seen people, doing what they love and doing their job and, having to step down from their positions, whatever it is. And after that, they're gone. They kind of lose their life afterwards. Now, I understand that from the looks of things, President Biden, obviously he's going through some issues. I don't know whether it's dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever it is, Something's going on. It's clear this, obviously. But I never felt like he lost his smarts, his intelligence, his ability to run the country. I didn't feel that. Now, maybe others don't agree with me, whatever. But that was just my personal take on it. But for them to push him out of doing his job, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So, that was one thing, right? So it is what it is. I've come to terms with it right now, right? I've come to terms with it, right?
Okay.
So now the news that broke this week, obviously coming out as well, is that Vice President Kamala Harris is now going to be the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party. So it's looking like it's her, right? She raised over $120 million already, probably more by now, which is crazy, right? Because it was so fast. Now there's a lot of people saying, I know the Republicans were saying, well, this is illegal. It's not fair. Now she's getting all of Biden's, all of his endorsements, and all of those people are coming on him, which is saying it's not fair, which I think it's illegal. I don't think it's supposed to happen, but whatever. I'm not big on the whole political, nuances and what's supposed to be going on, but that's what I'm hearing. And so it's really crazy what's going on. It's big news what's going on in politics right now. So I guess my question to you is, after the whole debacle that went on with the debate, and after Biden really didn't do a good job, obviously, he admitted that himself, and everybody knows that.
Right.
I said, oh, man, Donald Trump is a shoo-in. That's it. I was, oh, man, here you go. He's our next president of the United States. Then, after Biden dropped out, and now there's this whole, resurgence in the Democratic Party with Vice President Harris, just this new energy, right? I think Beyonce gave her the approval to use her song, and her speech is coming up, and so she's going to be coming out to Beyonce's song. They said, who knows if she is endorsed by Beyonce, and then what's her name? Taylor, right? Taylor Swift. Get the Beehive behind, and the Swifties behind her. There's no telling what could actually come of this race now, because when Biden stepped down, Trump was a shoo-in. There's a shoo-in, right? So I guess my question to you is, now with this change from Biden to Kamala Harris, do you think that Donald Trump is still a shoo-in to be our next president of the United States, like it was looking like after Biden really fumbled the ball on that debate.
So no, I don't think to answer your question. No, I don't think that Trump is a shoo-in. Not at this point. Not with Kamala. I think if history tells us anything, that Democrats kind of fawn over, or when they fall in love with a candidate, they're energized. They come out in droves, right? And they really kind of get into the idea of pulling the levers and voting, and their numbers spike. I think you were missing that Democrats were missing that with Biden. Mm-hmm. You get Harris out there. I think everyone's energized, and I think that concerns the Trump the Trump candidacy from that standpoint, because listen, people are jazzed by this, and I don't know if they even really understood. The Trump campaign really understood just how much. I think they had an idea, but this exploded. Like you said, 150 million in 2 days. Like, the money started flowing in, and it's big, and it's from the wealthy and the dollars, $5 from the masses, right? People who really can't afford to donate a lot of money. Mm-hmm. This is, I would not. If I'm the Trump campaign, I would not feel like this is a definite by any means, meaning a victory for them. Mm-hmm. Now, listen, you still have to go out and campaign. Yeah. There's still some talk as to whether or not debates are even going to happen. Should those happen? She hasn't selected a vice president yet, so we have to see how that plays out.
Right.
Because that could obviously impact the ticket, right? Sometimes you get a little overzealous, right? You get too aspirational, where the times don't necessarily align with the candidate. Mm-hmm. You know, if you think of Mondale years ago and he picked Geraldine Ferraro, right? Probably a great candidate, but can you honestly say that Americans were ready for a woman back in the 80s?
Yeah.
Probably not, right? When Lieberman was the vice president on the ticket, people questioned whether or not, that we could have someone who was Jewish in the White House. In the White House, that was a question. Was that the right time? That was oh my God, I forget Bill Clinton's vice president when he ran. I forget his name. A gentleman out of Tennessee, but when he ran, so was that the right time? So who Kamala Harris selects as her vice president? It could impact that, but right now, listen, if she were a stock, I'd buy it.
You'd buy it?
Yo, hell yeah, I'd buy it, because she's rising, man.
She is definitely rising. So do you think that Trump is? Do you think he's a little scared, a little shook? Do you think he would have rathered of Biden have stayed in the race for president of the United States?
Well, I don't know if he's scared. I think they understood the impact that could happen, right? As much as they possibly could. But I don't think it's any secret that they wanted Biden to stay, right? They made comments.
They thought he was the easy win?
Well, yeah, I think the polls suggested that he was winning, and he was polling better than Biden. Listen, the money had froze for Biden. People stopped donating. Like, you saw the machine around him just seize and come to a halt. The Democrats had no choice, right? The leadership had no choice. And from a Biden standpoint, I heard what you said earlier. You kind of feel like he was pushed out. Maybe there's some of that, but we've had times on our show where we talked about, not in politics, but with athletes, right, that have maybe stayed too long, right? And you've often heard me say we shouldn't pity our heroes,
right?
But I kind of felt a little bit of that with Biden, looking at him. And to your point, listen, maybe the intelligence level was still there. But it was tough to look at. And when so much is riding on that, I don't think it's too much to ask, or that people are wrong, that they want to see their leaders looking the part. So it's not enough to just believe that, okay, yeah, well, he can still think along those lines. But I think people want to see strength and power in that role. And that position, for all that we talk about, or when we put these cults of personality there, it really does belong to the people.
It does.
Right? And so the people spoke, and they were saying, no, we don't want you. So in that regard, I disagree with you and saying, listen, you had to go. If people don't want you there, you got to go. You have to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it's just, I guess it was just in terms where I think, you know, obviously he still has the intelligence. You know, he's served for over 50 years. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. He's definitely an intelligent man, and he's done a great job, in my personal opinion, over the last 4 years. So I guess it's, you know, I have a problem where, you know, just because he wasn't able to deliver what, you know, his policies and what he was doing, it didn't mean that he wasn't doing it. Everybody knows what he's done over the last 4 years. And I guess with the Democratic Party, when they was just like pushing him out, I guess it was more of an emotional thing. And you said before, like, the Democrats were, you know, make more of emotional type of decisions where, you know, I've seen people at that stage, especially elderly people, when they lose their passion and they stop doing what they want to do.
Right.
You know, they're probably dead within the next year or so. They're like gone because they have nothing to live for. Now, that shouldn't be at the expense of the American people, obviously.
Right.
So I get that part. But me personally, I didn't feel like it was that bad that he wouldn't be able to do his job anymore, especially when he's surrounded by his cabinet, right? Because they are, you know, he wasn't the only one, you know, making all of the decisions. It's, you know, they're working together. So I felt like they had his back, that it wouldn't have been so detrimental that, you know, he wouldn't still be able to, you know, fulfill his job in an effective way. I think it was just, the main thing is just because I feel like what's more important to people, you know, fulfilling the policies and, you know, his agenda that he wanted to do, or is it just delivering it, or just giving a good speech? And I felt like, oh, because he couldn't give a good speech, that was part of their decision why everybody was coming down on him. And, you know, that's just how I felt, which, like I said, just...
Yeah, I think also, too, Jay, you got to factor in, you're talking about someone, right, in this case, Biden as the president, where they're constantly on camera. And so we're viewing this person get slower, slower. This didn't come out of, it's not like this came out of nowhere, right? We saw this during his campaign, when he was campaigning for this, was it 20?
Right.
And so you saw this slow erosion of this, of his skills,
right?
His responses. So if you're standing in 24, it's not outlandish to think, okay, well, how's it gonna, if he wins, how's it gonna be in 26?
Yeah.
Where is it? Like, you know what I mean? If I can look at 24 and see where he was and pull up footage of him in 20,
right,
and compare those. Well, where's he going to be in 25, 26, 27?
Right. But I think the whole time, I think the VP was helping to run the country anyway. I mean, she is vice president, and the whole cabinet was running it anyway. So, I mean, well, then if that's the case, then why do you need a figurehead then? Right. Well,
you know what I mean? Like, if that's the case, then, right. So you're already answering the question, like, well, then he shouldn't be here. Now, granted, everyone's going to use their cabinet.
Well, I wouldn't say that he shouldn't be here.
Every president's going to use their cabinet. So I agree with you from that standpoint. But if we're acknowledging, hey, it doesn't, you know, we see your skills eroding, but you've got all of these people around you to help, to the point where they're going to be the ones. So when you say
skills eroding, when you
well, listen, I'm not in the White House,
right? So,
but I'm only doing it based off of what I see. So,
right. Yeah.
You know, his reaction every time, his ability to be able to put sentences together and respond back quickly in that debate form. Like, I don't know where else is this showing up in his life. Right. There are times where you see him on where we saw him on film, and he's walking. I swear it looks like he's about to topple over. Yeah. He always looks like he's about to topple over. And he's fell a few times. Listen, he's in his 80s, man. It's not like it's not like anybody's saying anything outlandish. He's granddad. He's Nana. He's Nana's age. You know, so it's not the worst thing in the world, though.
Well, you know, to me, it's just I hate when I clearly see double standards in this world and in politics wherever, and you know. Sometimes you see how the Republicans are really good with their guy. Mitch McConnell was 10 times worse. This man, Mitch McConnell, completely froze for at least a minute or more.
Jay.
Completely froze. And the Republicans, to their credit, they stood behind their man, and he still has his job today. And they stuck in there. They supported him, and they never tried to push him out. So listen, props to them. They stood behind their man. I wish the Democrats maybe would have done that with Biden, but again, that's just my personal.
Right, Jay. But I'm gonna step out on a limb and say that there's a little bit of a difference between
Mitch McConnell and Biden
being a person that sits in the House of Representatives versus someone that sits in the Oval Office. Like, it's not apples to apples, my man. Like that's a totally different thing. Mitch McConnell in the House of Representatives. For the state of Kentucky, a small state, in the district that he supports, it's not the same thing like running the country. So, I'm gonna yell foul on that one. That
ain't no foul on that. It's double standards. It's double standards that that's the true. I mean, are they in different positions? Of course. Is one more important than the other? Yeah, okay, I get it. But it just stands that by where you'll see Republicans will stick.
But you can't gloss over the fact. You can't say, well, you can't gloss over it. I mean, it's a big deal, right? And I love it also too when you give me an opportunity. Anytime you give me an opportunity to point out the fact that don't confuse fair with equal. All right? It's not equal, but it's not supposed to be. Is it fair? Absolutely. Biden should be held, and it goes for anyone in the Oval Office, should be held to a higher standard. Period. He is one of one. There are hundreds of people in the House of Representatives, one president. That's it. There's literally 4 people walking the earth that even know what the job is, right? So stop.
Well, I mean, you have people in the higher office, in the Oval Office. You have the president who's done crazy things. You've had a president who led the insurrection. Ain't nothing happened to him. So, I mean, there's lots of foul that goes on with the higher office. There's lots of foul stuff that goes on. It is what it is. So, I mean, you gonna pick? I mean, I like to keep things fair, but that's not how this world is. Y'all all know this. I know he knows it. But anyway, but back to the most important thing right now. Do you see that Vice President Harris, who now is going to be the opportunity to become the next president, she has the opportunity to become the next first black female president in history. What do you think about that? What do you think about the opportunity that she has ahead of herself? And if it does happen, what do you think that means to her and to the American people?
Listen, I think it's an incredible milestone, right? It's an incredible milestone for women, for minorities in this country. So I'm not sure what words can accurately describe what that means to our country, right? This country, as great as she is stained by the original sin, right? And so anytime that we can illustrate these milestones to suggest that we're a step further away from our past, not to forget, but to evolve from that, I think it's great. I think it's wonderful from that standpoint. Like I said, those who could describe it best, I'm not one of them. I understand the significance of it, but it's monumental, right? And I think it's something that, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, regardless of what gender, regardless of your race, whatever that is, anytime we can see something that looks like progress, we should applaud that. And that's what I see for this. Now, that to me is a moment in time. What's going to be, what's more important, or the most important part, is how she manages and how she governs the United States.
Absolutely.
And that's the part where I think many people are palms up. We don't know. I think the Democrats, when she went through the process to be the primary process, she fared horribly, right? And so what does that mean? It means any number of things, but one of the things it means is, as a party, they didn't want her, right? They chose not to. I think out of Iowa, she was like 1.8%. She had less than 2%. Folks can fact check me on that.
Okay.
And so she's in the position that she's in because she was selected. She wasn't voted in. So she didn't get there due to the voice of the people. Not through the primary. She was selected from that standpoint where Biden selected her. And now here she is again, right? Where she's not there as a result of the constituencies or voters saying, you're the person that we want. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But yeah, no, it's a big deal. Let me ask you something. Does she acknowledge herself as black? Because you said first black woman. And I know she's mixed race. Right. Does she acknowledge herself as a black woman? I know she went
I've definitely heard it. Yeah.
Okay. I know she went to HBCUs.
Right.
She's AK, sorority, and all that
absolutely,
stuff. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, she's black and Indian as well. So I mean, yeah. And her mother raised her, and her mother raised her and her sister, saying how it was going to be difficult for them as black women. The same thing like with Obama. Obviously, you know, he has white parents as well, but the world sees them as black people, and they identify. Yeah, she absolutely does identify with it, and it's something that she's proud of. And I think this is a great, however she's going to get to this point, if she happens to win, I think it would be a great achievement. Even being in the position, however she got in this position, is great. And I think it would be great for Americans, black women, just women in general, if this actually, comes into fruition. I think it's a great thing, and it shows women, black women, that just people in general, that they can do whatever they want to do. The same thing with Obama when he came in. It was like, it's just great representation, and I feel proud, and it's something that's great. Listen, she's gonna have to prove herself. Obviously, I mean, she's not an idiot. She's a smart woman. She's the vice president of the United States, attorney general. She's a very brilliant woman. So, do you think that she will debate Trump? And if they do debate, how do you think the debate will go? And what do you think about the whole meme going around the internet right now about the prosecutor versus the felon?
So I think the meme doesn't mean anything to me. I think when I see a meme, I just am reminded about just how clever people are. Right?
Yeah,
I wish some of these people would write for our show.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they do an amazing job with that. What was that saying? The internet is undefeated. Right?
Exactly.
Never, I did see some of that.
Yeah.
All of the other stuff, Jay. I guess unfortunately, or fortunately or unfortunately, we just need to wait and see. We just really don't.
How do you think a debate would go, though? How do you think a debate between both of them would go?
Let me answer part of the other question, which is I don't think Trump should.
You don't think he should debate him?
I don't think he should.
Okay.
I don't think he has anything to gain. I don't think he gains more. Trump is who Trump is, right? To me, a debate, the outcome would be, if you had a say, you had this collection of voters undecided, right? And that's where those debates sometimes help, where you're not sure which candidate you're going to go with, so you need to see and hear them debate the issues, the policies, and see what they say. And if it resonates with you, and you say, oh, you know what, I am going to support this candidate. I am going to support that candidate. That ain't happening here.
Right. But that's not what it's about anymore. It's all about reality TV, as you know.
Right. So there's...
But that's what they want to see.
Nah, and that's why I say, if I'm Trump,
He's the king of reality TV.
I don't need that. But
you don't need it.
Well, no, I'm saying if I'm Trump, I don't need that. And I'm saying saying that he doesn't need it. He doesn't gain anything from it. He can only lose from it. Right? I just don't see.
So you don't think he can win? So you're saying, when you say he don't lose from it, you don't think, or am I hearing correct, that you don't think he would be able to beat her in a debate?
I think in a debate, I would maybe give her possibly the edge. I'm not convinced that he would fare well in a debate with her. Listen.
Why?
A couple of reasons. One, I think I've heard her speak, and although I don't think although in my opinion, she's not an orator, which has this way of stirring the emotion.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
She's not a Barack. I mean, but who is, right?
No one's
right?
Barack, right? Yeah. Right.
She's not, but I think in that forum, as a former prosecutor who probably has years of experience of giving closing arguments, come on, man, she would kill in that environment, right?
Right.
Being able to summarize, right, why this person's guilty or why you should vote for me, right?
Yeah.
And doing that in contrast, evidence versus charges, right? Like
Right.
it falls right into her line. And so if I'm Trump, I'm not giving her that lane, that space in order to be able to do that. The other thing is, if you consider the debate between Trump and Biden, there was no audience there. So I think he does better when he feeds off of the crowds. If there's no crowd there, and it's just dead air.
Well, I don't know how this debate would be. Maybe they would have people.
I don't think he would agree to it. If he's not going to agree to it with Biden, what godly sense would he decide to agree to that with Harris?
But I thought you said he feeds off of crowds.
He does feed off of crowds. However, but her crowd, her crowd's going to be there too, right? So he does
right.
So
remember, he always their crowds would be there,
right? But you've got the boo birds there as well too,
right? Well, they'll be booing her as well. His people would be booing her.
Yeah, but I think that he would not respond. I think he would respond differently to it than maybe
than her responding to his boos.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think that the key to it is to not engage the crowd. Right, they're there. They're going to make as much as the moderators are quiet and give them instructions. Yeah. You're going to hear claps. You're going to hear the heckles. You're going to hear the jeers and stuff. And I think the proper way to do that is to act like it's not even there.
Okay.
I don't know if Donald John will do that.
Okay.
I don't know. And once you don't focus on your candidate, then I think you've kind of lost that moment.
I think he's probably a little shook on it. I think he's a little shook on it because he is. Listen,
shook.
I think he's a little shook because I don't think he's the most brilliant man in America. I don't think he's one of the most brilliant presidents whatsoever. It's my personal opinion.
I don't think he has to be.
Yeah, well, clearly he doesn't.
No, right? I don't think he has to be. I don't think he. I don't think anyone has to be the most
brilliant.
Who needs to? I don't think anyone necessarily needs to be brilliant. Who is brilliant, right? This is about policy and things that you're going to implement.
Right.
Things that you have the ability to work through Congress in order to get things intact.
And get things done. Well, hopefully we'll see what happens with it. I mean, she actually has it just came out today. She had a lot of, prominent Democrats backing her. And just this morning, Barack and Michelle Obama endorsed her for president. So she's got a lot of the big endorsements. So she's got a lot of big firepower behind her. And so it's going to be quite an interesting race. Right now, in today's headlines, they looked at the polls and they're kind of pretty much neck and neck at this point right now. So it's pretty tight right now. A stark difference from last Sunday. So
Absolutely.
we'll see how it turns out. All right.